Hello everyone. I don't know if you've seen what's been going around. I don't have TikTok, but I've seen people talking about this subject and I want to weigh in. There have been a lot of people saying they only read the dialogue in books, and as someone who, as we know, really likes to train the brain, I don't think that makes much sense. There are many things said in between the dialogue that lead to it. I tried this method to see if reading only dialogue makes any sense, and it doesn't. Or another thing that's been happening recently is people complaining that they can't understand the words. So we, as authors, must dumb down our books for them. Which again, as people have stated, myself included, when you don't understand, you research. Or I open a dictionary or a thesaurus. That's what you do when you don't understand a word. You ask someone who knows. You even try to use the word in everyday speech or practice a sentence or something. What you don't do is blame the people who write books and say, "Well, you need to make it easier for us." Sometimes I wonder, do they not enjoy reading? Or think that being a reader makes them smart, so they can cover up the fact that they find reading difficult by saying, "Hey, I read X amount of books." If what you mean is that you've only read the dialogue, that doesn't really count. Technically, you did read some of the book. For example, there's a book I've been trying to read since I started my YouTube channel, give or take. I still haven't been able to finish it, but I'm determined to. It's an easy book. I should be able to finish it. There are loads of words in it that I don't understand because it's from Victorian Cockney England. Even when writing my own book, there are so many words that are from Yorkshire that I don't understand. There are words from different parts of the country that I don't understand. I'm not just going to sit there and say, "Well, I'm not going to use them." No, I'm going to use them, especially because you don't just write about one generation of people. No, you talk about multiple generations, the boomers, Gen X, the millennials, Gen Z, etc. And every single type of person, every single generation of people has a different way of speaking. What was allowed to be said in the playground when I was little is mostly banned today. The insults that were used back when I was little are banned today because they are very offensive. They are still considered offensive and people will still raise an eyebrow if you say them. But again, different generations say different things. And it's like, for example, my mother's generation, Gen X. They didn't have all the safety protection that we have today. They didn't have that. These mats that we have now to protect our heads, and we're all making sure that you wear a helmet or a seatbelt, they didn't have that initially. Yeah, so, the things that they believe and they think, they'll all think different things, different generations, and they'll all speak differently. And I have to try and convey that in different ways. And that should not mean that just because I don't understand the things I'm researching, that I should give up on my book. Should I? Because I don't understand most of the Yorkshire stuff, because I'm sure you can tell I'm not from Yorkshire. Should I give up on my book just because I don't understand a lot of the words? North Yorkshire and Hull, the two main dialects, are very hard to read, to understand, to process. But it tells you a lot about the different lifestyles, Different dialects are sometimes used for different things. What are we really saying? Are we saying that everyone should only speak like us? What about people? Should we stop learning languages? Because learning a language means taking words that you don't understand and learning them. I have considered that, as Arabic is a right-to-left language, I should learn it, because my instinct has always been to write right to left. That way was much easier for my hand, and writing right to left would make things easier for me to write. Do you think I know Arabic? No. And if I decide to go into that would be very interesting. But I'm not going to stop learning languages because I don't understand them. I'm not going to stop reading books with words I don't understand. And I'm not going to stop writing books with words that other people don't understand. If it's in the English language, or it's part of the English dictionary, or even if it isn't, if it's part of an English dialect, I'll put it in my reading. And if it's a really abstract word, I may even have a place where you can find out what all all the words mean, or I might write them in the back because they're obscure. Because in England, we seem to have loads of dialects, you know? The way people talk in Manchester is different from how they talk in Hull. The way they talk in London is very different, but not everyone should have the same accent. The Americans are not suddenly going to return to sounding like the Brits because everyone has an accent, everyone has a dialect. And it's the same with authors. The way we write is different. What we want to write, the words we want to use may show our education. My nan uses words that I don't understand and I ask her. I don't say, don't use that word because I don't know what it means, or it makes you sound old. So what if it does? It shows she knows words I don't. Again, my mum plays Scrabble against me. She knows words I don't know. They're long words too. Should I tell her to only play a simple one so I can beat her, or so she can be an easier opponent? Absolutely not. I don't think I've won 20 games against this woman for the entirety of the time I've played against her. And you know what? I don't ask her to change because I learned so many words. So the point is, no. Readers, if you don't know a word, pick up a dictionary or a thesaurus or ask Siri what it means. He'll gladly tell you. If you find a book with too many words that you don't understand, then you can decide to put that book down. But don't be telling authors how they should write their books. I know that if my mum were to write a book, the words she'd use would be different from mine because the way she was raised and the words she grew up with were different. In this day and age, the younger generation can't even read joined-up handwriting, cursive, and so they've got rid of it as a lesson. I don't think they should have done that. I know someone from Gen Z who is the only person in their friend group who can read cursive, and I find that shocking. But the reason is that they grew up around people who did cursive. Therefore, the point being, the more you live, the more you learn. My dog tried to mimic human beings. He didn't say, well, you're a human, so I'm not going to try and mimic you. No. He tried mimicking speech. He tried walking on two legs. He tried putting his feet in our shoes. He tried walking in our shoes. Then he lost his balance and landed smack on his face. Then he's like, I'm not doing that again. The point is, the more you read, the more you learn, and the better you learn. And your vocabulary will be amazing. You may decide, I'm not going to do that. I don't like that word in everyday language, but it's an interesting word to know. But no one should be telling artists how they should be artists. No one should be telling singers how to be a singer. No one should be telling writers how to write or novelists how to novel. Don't do that, because you might learn something. The only time someone should complain is if someone has written them a letter personally and used offensive language toward them. But if it's not a personal letter, enough. If you're still here, then you're handsome and you're beautiful and you, well, I'm speechless. I'll let you know next time I see you. Over to the pets. Hello all, this is Sylvie. If you like what you saw, then subscribe for more. Hey everyone, my name's Bonjo. If you enjoyed yourself, then give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and if you had fun, then comment down below and let my mum know what you're reading at the moment.